Hey guys. Sorry, I was setting up my thing that I record some of my videos on. So I've been wanting to make this video for you guys all day, and I finally sat down, pajamas and all, after my workout and my food and my shower and everything else that I had going on today. And I really just kind of want to talk to you guys honestly because I've this sort of like video came about both from my own thoughts and sort of mental battle through the last almost 3 weeks of this program, as well as some things that I've been seeing from you guys, and also things that I've seen in the coach test group that I'm a part of, in my team pages, things like that. So here's the deal. I want to ask you, when you committed to this program, did you commit to this program because you were like, yes, I want to get the best results that I can get in the first 2.5 weeks? Like, that's why I'm doing this program. Like, I think I'm going to shred myself up in 2.5 weeks. Or did you come to this program looking for something different and excited to see what you could do over 80 days? Did you mentally commit to giving it 80 days to see the ultimate results that you wanted, right? I personally came into this program with that 80-day expectation, with my eye on that 80-day prize. And I promised myself that I wouldn't be distracted by what was happening in the moment to moment in terms of standing in the mirror every 5 minutes, like sometimes I'm tempted to do, seeing if my belly looks smaller or, if my thighs look stronger or leaner, right? It can be so tempting to get distracted by that stuff. And I told myself at the start of this program, and I've had to tell myself over and over again, honestly, not to do that to myself, not to focus all the time, look all the time, every time I pass a mirror, wondering if I look thinner or not. And it's hard because we've been conditioned over the last couple of years with Beachbody to do these 3-week, 1-month sort of programs that promise fast results, right? The thing is, when I've done those programs, I might have gotten results in 3 weeks, but did I keep them? Nope, never, right? I've always done this 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off sort of deal. And therefore I've always sort of more or less stayed the same. I never actually ever pushed beyond those 3-week results and gotten further and further and further in terms of my progress. It's always been 2 steps forward, 1 step back sort of deal. And so when I came into this program and throughout the program, because guys, I'm not seeing a bunch of fantastic results yet. I guess maybe I haven't talked about it yet, but I mean, I haven't noticed that I see very much difference in the mirror in terms of like fat loss. I see like my arms and shoulders looking a little bit more shapely maybe, and maybe like, a little bit more definition in my midsection a little, but like I haven't lost a bunch of fat from my stomach. I still feel bloated in my lower stomach. My legs look stronger when I'm wearing leggings, but I still don't feel comfortable wearing like my little shorts that I really want to look good in when I work out, right? I'm not seeing these crazy results either. And instead of allowing that to distract me or discourage me or beating myself up and comparing my results to other people's results, I've had to remind myself that when I started this program and this journey, I committed to 80 days. And I told myself that I saw the results from the test groups. I saw the results that those people got. And there's no way in hell that this only works for some of us, right? I told myself that I would focus on the journey, on the process, right? Instead of on whether or not I was getting immediate results. And when talking about results, it's important to understand, like, what do results mean to you? Are you somebody who is stuck in the cycle of just wanting to be skinny? Because I've been there. I've done that. I remember there were times where I did nothing but cardio because I was just desperate to feel skinny. I've done nothing but running for a year on end and been my smallest size ever, but I wasn't strong. I didn't have any muscle definition. I hadn't built any lean muscle. I didn't feel when I walked up the stairs or got up from a standing position or, reached to get something or bent down to pick something up. I didn't feel my glutes or my hamstrings or my quads. I didn't feel powerful. I didn't have abs, right? I've been in the position where I put on a pair of pants on the other side of it, right? These are two different ends of that sort of extreme spectrum, right? Like cardio junkie, just get skinny. I want to wear I want to be in a size 6 pant, right? Which I never actually, I think I attained that once when I was doing nothing but cardio. But again, I had no muscle. I didn't feel strong. I couldn't do 5 push-ups. Versus when I've started to do programs in the past and started to build some booty and build some legs and build strength in my arms and my back, and suddenly some of my clothes were fitting tighter, and it's so ingrained in us to have that oh shit, my pants don't fit. Doesn't matter that in our heads, somewhere in the back of our heads, we know that we're building definition and that we're building muscle that's going to help us function and that's going to help us be healthy and strong, muscle that's going to help us burn more calories even when we're not working. They say building lean muscle helps you burn calories for 24 hours, boost your metabolism for 24 hours after you're done lifting, right? Yep, I think that's something that I want, but it's so easy to get focused on a certain number on the scale or a certain clothing size or, a certain sort of skinny aesthetic, right? It's so easy. I'm a person who's built very muscular, right? And my whole life, all I wanted was to be feminine. I thought feminine meant having really thin arms, which I've never had in my life, having super bird legs, which I've never had in my life, right? I thought it meant having this teeny tiny little shapely waist, which I've never had in my life. I'm not built that way. So part of this process for me is going through the motions, doing the program, having faith in the program, and letting my body do what it's going to do. Accepting, really? Accepting and embracing my natural body type and just trying to make that body type the strongest it's ever been, the most defined it's ever been, the most chiseled it's ever been, the most fat burning machine it's ever been, right? I'm focusing on my strength and embracing who I am naturally instead of wishing for something that isn't attainable for me, or that if I do stretch myself to attain it, doesn't actually help me be healthier or stronger or more capable in the long run. So I really, really, really encourage you to think about if you are struggling with, your pants getting bigger, even though that you're just building muscle and that you're not actually fatter. If you're struggling with, not seeing the kind of results you want within these first 2.5, 3 weeks, I really challenge you to take a good deep look inward. It's kind of like when we talk about personal development, sometimes this and that personal development and these kinds of questions that we're asking ourselves can be extremely difficult because they force us to uncover some of the things that we're really terrified to be honest with ourselves about. But we cannot change unless we ask ourselves the hard questions, unless we grow in the really gritty, mucky type of ways, right? We have to challenge ourselves to do those things if we are ever going to break free of the chains that not only society has set on us, on what we should be, should look like, what size clothing deems us skinny or healthy or thin or strong or whatever, but also the chains that we've put on ourselves as it relates to that, okay? Ask yourself how you want to feel, if there's any emotional scars that are tying you to think, I have to be this number. I've talked to so many women who say, I know that I might gain weight when I lift muscle, but I don't care. I want to be 120 pounds, just period. I know that maybe, if I build muscle, it might be harder to hit that number, but whatever happens, I'm going to be 120. That is an incredibly unhealthy way to view a health and fitness journey, right? And that creates this incredibly destructive cycle in our minds and therefore in our behaviors. And I really want to caution us against that as a group, because I have to be very careful too. Do you know how long I was telling myself that I wanted to be 130 pounds? Do you know that right now I weigh 155 pounds? And I wouldn't call myself fat. There are things that I want to change about myself, right? There's fat on my body that I want to lose. But if I would have told myself 10 years ago that I would weigh 155 pounds right now, I'd probably cry. Because to me, back then, that number was something I was so afraid of a number like that. But now I could give a shit less what the number on the scale means. I want to know that I look strong, feel strong, right? That I can lift heavy weights, that I can do 30 push-ups in a day like I was finally able to do today, all the push-ups on my toes, right? Like, we have to develop a healthy idea of what results truly mean and ask ourselves if the number on our clothing or the number on the scale truly matters, as long as we look and feel strong and have a strong mindset. Okay. So the other thing is that, Autumn did a video last Sunday that I just watched today because of my work schedule. I was working last Sunday, but oh Lord, if timing isn't everything, right? Last Sunday on rest day, she talked to the 80-day obsession coach test group about stepping on the scale after 2 weeks. And she said, ideally, I really wish that you wouldn't. I really want you to wait till the end of each phase before you go and start weighing yourself. But if you have to, I will finally give you reluctant permission to weigh yourself at the end of week 2. She recommended that if we were going to do it, that we always weigh ourselves on a rest day, because on days that we're working out hard, we have more blood volume, right? Which can definitely contribute to feeling bloated, which can contribute to feeling swollen, and like our clothes aren't fitting as snug, or fitting too snugly, I guess we should say. When you're working out really hard and your body is working really hard to recover, your blood volume increases and you swell a little, because all that work you're doing to your muscles is breaking your muscles down. Right? The byproduct of muscle breakdown is blood and cells and fluid, and your body has to work really hard to process all that through, right? And that's normal, and it's not a bad thing. It will go away, and our bodies are still getting used to these very hard workouts, okay? It doesn't mean that the results won't come. It doesn't mean that you won't shred. But regardless, if you're going to do the weights and measurements, it should be on a rest day, ideally at the same time every day, because you're never going to weigh the same amount throughout the day. You're always going to gain and lose throughout the day based on how fast you're digesting things, what's in your stomach or in your intestines, how much water you've drank, the moon, the time of month, your hormones. Okay, so always weigh yourself ideally first thing in the morning with no clothes on before you've had anything to eat or drink. And again, ideally on a Sunday when your body has had time to, or even on a Monday morning when your body's had time to sort of flush itself out, flush some of that extra blood volume out before you start building it back up through difficult workouts, strong, heavy weightlifting and such. She also said that if you're going to weigh yourself, you absolutely 100%. In her words, she said, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, if you're going to step on the scale at the 2-week mark, you have to also do measurements and a side-by-side photo, because the number on the scale will not tell you what your progress is. And I've been tempted to take measurements and photos again. But again, I really have made a conscious decision that I'm not going to do it, that I will only weigh and measure myself and take pictures at every phase, at the end of every phase. Why? Because again, I cannot get distracted or discouraged by whether or not I'm making small incremental progress when compared to other people in the test group or other people in our challenge group. Okay, because of that is discouraging and distracting, and we cannot compare our journeys to other people's journeys. If you're somebody who has a lot of weight to lose, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday in the comments of one of the posts, but if you're somebody who has a lot of weight to lose, you're likely going to lose fast, quick at first, and then you're going to hit a little stall in that weight loss because your body's like, wait, whoa, what's going on? I dropped 15 pounds in 2 weeks. Are we okay? Are all systems functioning correctly, or is there a problem that we need to fix? So your body will halt, and once it knows that everything's okay, it can resume its functioning and metabolism and burning calories and that kind of stuff, right? These are normal things. Just like if you don't have quite as much weight to lose, if you've already lost a lot of weight and now you're just trying to get, they say those last 10 pounds are the hardest. There's a reason for that. If you have less weight to lose or less fat to lose, the progress is a little bit slower. Okay, so I have to continually tell myself not to focus on what's happening with other people, not to get discouraged 3 weeks into an 11.5 week journey, that I'm just going to focus on the journey itself, trust that the program works because, again, it has worked for 100 or more people already. There is no way that it won't work for me. And one of the things that Autumn has said in that same video was that some people may lose 15, 20 pounds in the first few weeks or in the first phase. Some people will lose next to nothing in the first phase and then all of a sudden start to shred in phase 2 or phase 3. Everybody's body is different, and she made a point in this video to emphasize that everybody will lose differently in different phases. And therefore, you cannot be discouraged by what's happened in less than 3 weeks. And again, what I'm telling myself is to just, instead of focusing on being discouraged that my abs aren't flat and chiseled yet, I need to instead focus my energy where it really matters, because I did commit to this for 80 days. I didn't commit to this only if I saw certain results at certain times. I committed to 80 days, and I am not going to give up on myself or on this journey. I am not going to allow myself to get into that destructive mindset. I am going to focus on what matters, which is doing my best every day. So I want you to ask yourself, are you truly following the program? Because this is where the attention that the limited attention we have, the limited emotional energy that we have has to go to the right places. And that should be to ask yourself the really hard questions, like the ones I talked about before, about what's truly important to you in terms of results and whether or not you're having some emotional destructiveness based on some scars from the past. But also the hard questions that include, are you really following the nutrition plan? Because if you're not, and none of us are perfect, but if you're not 90% nailing it, then how could you ever be upset about lack of results? And I have to tell myself this, right? Because I'm not perfect. I've missed meals because I didn't plan well or I woke up too late, right? I missed one workout so far in the 3 weeks. It was cardio last weekend on Saturday. I went out and had a cheat dinner and wine with friends. I had wine once in the first week, or at the end of the first week as well, right? So these are decisions that I'm making. And if I'm upset with the results that I'm not getting, I have to be able to say, hey, are you doing it or not doing it? And then bitching about not getting results. And I challenge you to do the same. If you're eating the things in the container lists, but you're not eating them following the timed plan, you're not spreading your meals out by 2 or 3 hours, you're not, eating before your workout the right meal like you should, if you're skipping containers, if you're not using the containers and you're eyeballing your portions, if you're saying, oh, it doesn't matter if I do this the way it's written, then you can't be upset about the results that you are or are not getting, right? Ask yourself which choices in those container lists you're making, because they are in every category, they are listed in order of highest nutrient value and density for per calorie to lowest. So the yellows are the ones that we all struggle with, right? Are you eating the yellow foods from the top of that food group list or the bottom? Are you eating sweet potatoes and quinoa, or are you eating pasta and bread? Because it makes a difference. On the reds, are you eating the lean meats, or if you're a vegetarian, like I mostly am, are you eating the fish or the tempeh, or are you eating down from the bottom like the protein powder and veggie burgers? It matters. On the fruits, are you eating the berries from the top, or are you eating the mango from the bottom or banana from the bottom? Because those have a lot to do with how much sugar is in each fruit and how much carbs are in each fruit and which ones have a lower glycemic index. So if you really want results, focus on the day-to-day journey, pushing yourself in your workouts. Are you going through the workouts and doing them and like, oh, I'm out of breath and tired at the end, I must have done, the work required of me? Or are you pushing yourself to the extent that when you're on your last 3 reps of every single set, that you're like shaking and you're like, I don't know if I could get in a single more rep. I don't know if I can, like, I'm falling over because my muscles are so burnt out. That's how you get results. You have to push yourself to your limits instead of just going through the motions and telling yourself that you're doing the program. And the conversation that I'm having with you right now is the one that I have to have with myself regularly. So please know that this comes from a personal place and also from my heart, because I want you guys at the end of 80 days to have the best results possible. And I don't want you to give up on yourself or get discouraged. I want you to stick with it. I want you to prove to yourself that you're not somebody who gives up the first time you get discouraged, and that instead you challenge yourself to rise to the occasion. Because that is what I'm focusing on, rising to the occasion, pushing myself harder in my workouts, getting better at that time nutrition, stopping with any excuses that are stopping me from getting better at that time nutrition. I keep that app open on my phone regularly. So every single time I'm like, which containers go together right now? Or which meals haven't I had today? So I can open that up and immediately know exactly what I'm supposed to do, because I want to stay focused on doing the things that the program prescribes, so that at 80 days, when I get my final results, I can be proud instead of feeling like I didn't get the results I want. The program didn't work. Bullshit. The program works. You didn't work it. Or feeling like, oh, I knew I could have done better and I half-assed it and I made excuses and now I'm upset because I didn't get the results I wanted. All right, you guys? I hope this was helpful in some way. Comment below. If I didn't address something that you're struggling with, let me know so I can find the answer for you or give you my answer from my own experience. I will post that video that Autumn recorded. I'll post it with the accountability post today, okay? So this is your Friday morning post, and I'll post the Friday accountability post like I normally do at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll include the video that I'm referencing for you guys to see yourself. Okay? I love you guys. Have a good Friday. We are almost done. We are 2 workouts away from being finished with week 3 and entering a whole new phase. We're about to be sore all over again. We're about to be challenged all over again, a whole new set of 6 workouts, and I'm really excited. Bye.